the top 10 as to what's going on, because we thought the vets were about to go out, but just had Dervalane return back to the commentary booth, where he should be on the track, of course, and there's a reason for that. The vets race, due to low numbers, that second heat race has been cancelled, so we're going to jump straight through to the Junior SM140 and Mini GP, where Harley McCabe takes the pole from Tyler Humphries, Brian Hamilton, Arnie Carr in fourth, Lewis Mullen in fifth place, Laken Payne, Luca Wilkinson, Joel Grigg, Harvey Lathrop ninth from Wilson Dilk, Zach Weston, Joshua Williams, Blake Wilson, Kobe Garbett, Bobby King, Toby Skaman, Daniel Stevenson, Brooke Champion in 18th place, with George Bowes rounding out the field. So Dervalane very quickly than anticipated back in the commentary booth. So basically there's only a few riders in this vets class, so they opted to jump straight to the final later on. Yeah, there's only four going to be lining up, so we've called that one, and we're just going to do the final race later on today. A couple of guys got injured yesterday and stuff, so the numbers have depleted, but that's fine. We'll keep the racing going, keep the full grids going, and that's what people want to see. So I was about to say, it's a bit strange to see such a low number in the vets. It's usually quite a busy class, really. So such injuries and people dropping off, sort of thing. Yeah, there's been a couple of guys got injured, and a couple of guys that couldn't make it. And obviously, when the numbers start to go down, you know, although we'll have fun and we'll enjoy ourselves, you don't want to be running around with three of us or four of us if we can, when we've got such a busy schedule anyway. So get the kids out, get a full race back on, and off we go. And also in the last race, two of the guys that would have been racing in the vets race just competed in the race before. I just noticed actually as well, yeah. So although my plan of making them tired was going to work, it's kind of backfired a little bit. I never know how that works. I've done double entries in motocross in the past, and it's like, theoretically, you think almost because you've just done a 15-20 minute motor, you're going to be tired, but I found it works the opposite way sometimes. It's like you come off the race for the one and you're all fired up and ready to go, and it's just a case, as long as there's no fuel in the bike, that's the main thing, of course. But yeah, well, you should be slower if you're going to put more fuel in, but it didn't seem to stop Matt Davis, did it? Yeah, so it seemed to run well there, and a couple of incidents there it seemed as well, but the rider's okay. And it was another one with Daniel Pearson running strongly in that second place. Didn't quite work out for him this time, but still taking a strong third. Yeah, he's riding really well. He's having a good weekend, and he got off the line well again, which was his secret move. I'm not sure how he's doing it. I'll have a chat with him later and find out for next week for you, or for Wilton Mill. I think the start here very important. I think well, I suppose Red Lodge is quite a short run. This has got to be about the shortest run into the first corner on the calendar, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a pinch point. So if one guy in mid-pack makes a mistake or panics and brakes hard, the rest of everything, you know, squeezes up, and it's in some trouble. So you've got to be aware that you can't always win on the first corner, but you can definitely end up in a tyre wall. And the rider on pole here, Harley McCabe, has had of course he had that incident earlier on, of course, but on the whole he's had a good afternoon's racing so far, and he certainly has nailed the starts. I would say be one of the key things. He's every race he's got away well, and it's just, you don't have to be amazing off the line, but just strong enough to get the front wheel in there, and once he got through that chicane, it's okay. Yeah, you'd be amazed how easy it is for one of these bikes to wheelie, you know, to pop a wheelie, and then you're in a world of trouble and you're going backwards, and the world's passing you by. If you don't get off the line, everyone else is, and they're coming fast. So, you know, the front guys especially have to get off the line. They've also, if you can see on the grid, they've started to stagger them left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Oh, that's it. Yeah, just a bit of an offset. Yeah, you can see it a bit better there. So that's ideally so that people can see if someone breaks down or stalls. You've got a bit more visibility of a stranded rider on the track. It's a good safety measure, I'd say. Just to note there, it looked like Will Lathrop pushing his bike onto the grid. So yeah, does his brother racing this? Yeah, I was going to say, well, if Harvey was in the midfield, wasn't he? Perhaps he's in trouble or something. Because there is a delay to the start here now. I suppose there is a bit of a scope to try and get the bikes going again if there's a mechanical fault. That's him there, isn't it? That's him, yeah. There he is. So Lathrop, yeah. Whether there's a last-minute bike change going on here or something, it may appear. Maybe, but they've made the time back up by the race before, so they can get. Yeah, I think the important thing is that everyone gets away safely. Everyone gets away safely. You know, they might make them do one more sighting lap just to get some more heat in the tyres before they go racing as well. It's taking a little bit longer. See the start official there just putting the finger up there. I think it's to indicate basically do another lap. So for people who don't know, this is basically just to get the warmth back in the tyres and get the grip back there again, really. Yeah, because a lot of these guys will run tyre warmers, so they'll pump a load of heat in their tyres and then they'll sit there for 5 minutes. So when you think you've got grip, because it's the grips, you just sat there, just the heat starts just falling out of your tyres as you sat there.
and you've been running hot tyres all day, you might just go in a bit heavy and suddenly your tyres don't want to know. So it's good, just especially with it being kids as well, send them on another lap, get accustomed to the track again, make sure you're dialed in and come up to the line, go through your start procedure and off you go. That should reduce the accidents then as well.
You've certainly seen in experience with karting in the past with like more race spec tyres, they're designed for performance really, so to paraphrase with the kart, you steer into the first corner on cold tyres, just go straight on basically, which is not what you want on a bike, is it?
It's not what you want at all. And on a bike, it's really easy, and bikes really don't give you much notice when they give away. So, especially with the kids out there as well, you just want to make sure that they can go out, can ride in the safest platform that you can give them. And as like I said, as we've got some time that we've made back, it's good that they can go out, warm their tyres up, get dialed into the track and what they're there to do, and hopefully if they can all get off the line safely, we'll have some good racing this afternoon.
And pretty much 2 laps at a steady pace like this, it's enough just to generate a little bit of heat to get them ready and then keep them on the grid as quickly as possible. So there was a bit of an incident there on the start line, 1 or 2 mechanical issues, but looks like it's all been sorted out. So the riders just going back out once again to get the tyres warmed up again, and hopefully we should be able to get this second race for the Ugly & Co Mini GP and Junior Supermoto back underway for what will be their 3rd race of the weekend. And that was Mullin there with a little stoppy there on the line.
Yeah, I would try that, but it'd only go wrong, so I wouldn't. The interesting thing now is that obviously I know a lot of the parents here. You can see John Boy at the front and Davey Hamilton. Their kids are all racing. How scary this part of the time is when you put your kid on the track. It is frightening. So I've tried it with my lad and couldn't even watch. So I don't know how they do it. So credit to all the parents that are there, have to send their lads on this race.
You'd usually notice when you look in the spectator areas when you see somebody like actually smoking a cigarette, or so that's the person whose boys racing or girls racing. Oh, that was a bit of a messy start there, wasn't there? Someone
stalled it. Now hopefully that's.
So they've kept the engines running. I think one rider's at least lost the engine.
Yeah, so Arnie Carr, I think,
had
just gone forwards. It's been held back there by one of the parents. And this is, of course, when the tension builds. You can see David Hamilton speaking to his lad Brian there just to say, look, focus in again.
So it looks like they're going to hold them on the line and go again. The flag goes up. Let's hope for a good start this time. Oh, they seem to get away well. Into the first corner they go, and another textbook start there for Harley McCabe into that first corner. And through they go. So McCabe, another good start there. Humphries second, Hamilton and Carr all very well. All very good for McCabe.
Yeah, they got away well that time, and thankfully no incidents at the start. So now people will just be settling in, first couple of corners, seeing who's in front of them, and already started thinking about how to get past.
I would say, yeah, definitely some good riding there at the start, because that was a pretty tense moment there for everyone on the grid, not just the riders, but everyone watching as well. So they all got away well after a difficult start. And already we have got the top 3 just breaking away slightly. So McCabe leads, it's going to be Humphries second, Hamilton third. Good start for Lewis Mullen getting up to 4th, although Arnie Carr, well, he's lost his rhythm over there on that first lap. So Arnie Carr dropping to 6th position, just ahead of Joel Grieg. So good to see that Grieg is still in there. Of course, he had that incident yesterday, so at least he's still out there and racing. Yeah,
so he's just doing the 140 today, so I caught up with him en route to getting my bike sorted for the race that didn't happen, and he said, yeah, he's just doing the 140 today. So he should go well today, and obviously Arnie Carr and Joel Grieg are teammates, so they'll be chasing each other down, wanting to beat each other, and get back on the back of Lewis Mullen, who's one of their teammates as well, so it could get interesting later.
So they're a bit further back, and of course Arnie Carr, difficult start for him. He's going to try and fight back, but Harley McCabe, 42.7 last time round. Good, strong pace at the front here. Tyler Humphries, 0.3 of a second down in second place. Brian Hamilton third. So Laken Payne now up to 4th position. There he is, number 41, just getting ahead of Lewis Mullen. Mullen right on the tail. It's getting closer on the edge of the top 10. There's Mullen, and then we've got Arnie Carr, Joel Grieg, Wilson Dilks in there, Luca Wilkinson. This is going to get very close here.
Yeah, so this race is always a pack of 8 or 9 fighting. It's like watching MotoGP 3 or something like that, or 300 race where they're all tightly packed in. So again, it's about riding safe. This is where you see some of the racecraft that's been developed. I suppose the only one that's The only bike that's really different is the guy at the minute in third, Brian Hamilton. He's on the 12-inch Bucci. Most of the guys around him are on 10-inch bikes, so it's slightly different there. But this gaggle of riders that are coming through now, this is where you're going to see some really close, hopefully some tight racing with lots of swapping of position and no incidents.
So let's have a look now. The whole train of riders headed by Lake and Payne in fourth position, number 41, as Mullen having a little peek there coming into the chicane. Not quite close enough to go for the pass here, but is he going to try and line him up into the hairpin? He's got the Arnie Kart, Joel Green, Wilson Dilks right behind him, so Mullen certainly can't afford to be too aggressive and lose out. He has a look down the inside, although Payne's got the line covered. And yet again, Dave, another of these fantastic races where nobody's really overtaking, but it's all so close.
Yeah, and they spread out across the track, and then when they get to the corner, they all get back into single file. So yeah, it just shows how far this class has come and how competitive it is. You've got three to eight lads all within milliseconds of each other, millimetres of each other's wheel, and there's, they've got to be trust there.
I think they've lost Bobby King, but they appear to be closing up on the number 46 of Brook Champion, who does very well. They're just holding the inside line, letting everyone sweep around the outside. I think they've all got through safely. We'll find out now, of course, and it appears so. And I have to say, full credit there to Brook Champion down in 17th place. Cut adrift from the rest of the field somewhat, but doing very well just to hold that inside line and just let everyone filter through. Yeah,
Brooke, she's a lovely little girl. She's obviously stepped up on, she's riding a KO, Mazzano KO at the moment. She's only been on it, I think this is her first full round, or maybe 1.5 rounds on it. So again, new bike, learning it, mini GP a bit bigger as well than some of the bikes that are on here. So she's in a learning stage and obviously getting quicker and quicker all the time. But yeah, lovely family as well. So hopefully she'll keep going around and keep learning.
Yeah, it was a nasty place to catch up with her as well, that nasty little corner, everyone racing away. So a good bit of cooperation between both the faster riders and the lapper as well, I think, there.
And another moment where I closed my eyes and just hope they all got through in one piece.
Nobody to watch. We did see the yellow flag there, but nobody seems to really, well, as Bobby King seems to be in cut adrift at the back of the field, but I'm not sure it was Bobby that hit trouble. Somebody evidently with a bit of trouble there, but the race goes on, and at the moment Harley McCabe leads by 0.9 of a second. Brian Hamilton cut away a little bit in third, on his own in third, but all the action here is for fourth place as Lake and Payne's gone into that fourth position, holding on to the position, and look how close this is. Nobody's really overtaking, but it is all so close and everyone doing very well. There is the treble 2 of Harvey Lathrope, who will be second in junior supermoto. That means that Wilson Dilks, should see the 85 in there, will be leading the junior supermoto class. And if we may see them a bit further back, you'll see, you can tell the difference between those two bikes almost by the riding style, because you've got more upright supermoto style, and yeah, Wilson Dilks in there leading that class. And like we were saying earlier, Dave, that supermoto, it's a bit of a steeper rake, a more aggressive turn in. And does that make any advantage or disadvantage, would you say?
I suppose the main difference is just where your body is and the way you can position on the bike. If you watch some of the kids go through the corners, their head's right at the side. They'll lean off the bike, the head will be at the side of the fairing, their body position will be a bit more forward, whereas on the pit bike, as I call it, or the more upright, you can more lean off the side and drag a knee and throw a bike around the corner. So slightly different styles, but these guys will be able to ride both pretty fast. So the mini GP being a bit stiffer, having the fairing on obviously as well, just puts your body in a slightly different position, but as you see, these kids can ride anything.
Well, it's certainly very close to the two different types of bike in there as well. Hamilton, just having a look at the lap times there, and Brian Hamilton is being closed on slightly by this group. There's still about 2.7 seconds between third and fourth place. So with not much overtaking going on, they all seem to be pushing each other along. And well, there's Tyler Humphries in second. There's Hamilton coming around the final corner in third. There's Brook Champion again, still running in 17th place. About to be closed on by this group. Just having a look at the lap times again. This is interesting here, Dirk, because as we watch them filter past Brook Champion, who again does very well, holds her line, lets the faster riders find their way through. I'm watching Payne here. This happens when there's a battle between, sometimes riders get in each other's faces and slow each other down, but sometimes just push each other along. And they're by no means reeling Hamilton in third, but they are closing up on that third place rider.
Yeah, they're closing the gap in, but I think it's just where you can get an opportunity to overtake. You can see coming out of that final left-hander onto the, and then turning right onto the back straight, as we're going to call it. You know, if you can get a good run on there or a good run out of this first corner, there's an opportunity. But you can see that Lewis Mullen closing right in on Lakeland Payne.
Yeah, he's having a look down the inside this time.
Just not quite close enough.
Both riders incidentally setting their own fastest lap of the race. Lakeland Payne 43.191, Lewis Mullen with a 43.140, so they really are pushing each other down the track here. And yet again, they just steal another 1/10 of a second from the third place rider, Brian Hamilton. We should say no offence here to Harley McCabe, who is cleared away at the front by 1.8 seconds from Tyler Humphries. The first and second pretty steady at the moment as they just go over the line, and Harley McCabe actually setting the fastest lap of the race, 42.3, to increase the gap. Hamilton third, and yet again that gap goes down between third and fourth to 2 seconds. I wonder if Lakeland Payne could see himself closing up on third place here.
Yeah, he's in view, but I think he's going to be more interested in what's coming from behind him, because Lewis is definitely looking to try and line up a pass by taking a tighter line, whether maybe a slightly wider line in and a faster exit out could help him. Arnie Carr's got into the back of Lewis now as well. So, and literally anything could happen.
It's just that trying to find that inside line, get the wheel in there at the moment, as Mullen having a look down into the final corner. This will be 2 laps to go now as McCabe goes over the line. Humphries second, Hamilton still there in third.
Just there, just in front.
And the gap goes down to 1.7 between third and fourth, as I think you're right there, Dave. I think Lakeland Payne, he's closing up on third, but he's more worried about Lewis Mullen behind him at the moment.
Yeah, Lewis is just looking for an opportunity, but Lakeland's really good on the brakes. He seems to be quite late on the brakes, which is going to help him. Whether back markers will help.
I think that was Toby Skame, wasn't it, who runs wide out of the corner.
Bobby King, that one.
Oh, was it Bobby?
Yeah, it's Bobby King.
Bobby King, sorry, my apologies. Yeah. Did well there, just conceded the corner, ran out and let them all go through. Running his own race. So Harley McCabe onto the last lap. 2.3 seconds from Tyler Humphries in second place. Still Brian Hamilton in third, around the final corner being closed on.
Yeah, they're closing right. They're closed right in. I think they're going to run out of laps for them to get in, but they're definitely closed right in on it.
There's King on the number 55, 18th place, as Lewis Mullen sets his fastest lap of the race. But is it going to be enough? He needs to get past Lakeland Payne, could potentially even snatch third if things go as things close up substantially as they get past Brook Champion through the chicane for the final time. There is Lakeland Payne, Lewis Mullen. Meanwhile, McCabe will take the checkered flag. Tyler Humphries second, Hamilton third. Who's it going to be in fourth?
Can't see anyone taking it.
Here they come, so it's Hamilton third. Oh, that was close there. So Lakeland Payne just about holding off Lewis Mullen, Arnie Carr, Joel Grigg, Luca Wilkinson. Wilson Dilks will finish 9th and be the first of the Supermotos, from Harvey Lathrop in the 10th position, second of the JSM riders, Blake Williamson and Joshua Williams a bit further behind. Great battle there though, Dave. It was not much overtaking, but very, very close, and some great riding. No,
like you said, that class is super competitive. So, you know, breaking into the top 10, if you're in the top 10 in that class, you are pushing on, and you know, to ride so close to each other throughout the whole race, 10, 12 laps of consistent lap after lap after lap of not crashing, not pushing each other off. Yeah, it's a really good race.
Yeah, definitely some good racecraft there. We've had a couple of incidents today, but by and large it's been pretty close, and everyone riding well.
And well done also to the back markers as well, because you saw in that race they were aware of what was coming.
Yeah.
Sometimes they made a conscious effort just to be out of the way, or sometimes they just, when they were in the trouble, they just stuck dead on their line and allowed the faster guys to make some decisions around them. So that was a good race for all of them all around, I think.
Yeah, because you saw Bobby King, of course, running wide in the hairpin just to concede the corner, which is probably the best thing to do if you can. But then the unfortunate Brook Champion, they were on about the fastest chicane on the track. They encountered her, and it would have been easy for her to try and jump out of the way. Yeah, but she didn't. She stayed very disciplined to staying on her line, and that just allowed, like I said, the minute if she'd have veered left or right, you don't know what's coming. You can't see what's coming from behind trouble
you.
Then, isn't it? So
if you turn your head, you tend to turn the bike as well, so that could have been a disaster. But no, excellent job there.
So I would say excellent riding throughout the field there for all those riders. We're going to move on to our